Hello everybody, Solemn Child here again, and we're going to do our second part of our video tutorial of where I'm just going to paint these girls here and show you guys a little bit about painting process and how we do things. This is how far we got with the first video, and as you can tell I'm playing my music. Oh, in case you're wondering what music, I'm listening to DJ Modulator's Industrial Remix for 2012. If you don't know DJ Modulator, I'm going to give him a little shout out. He does a lot of really cool remixes for industrial, goth, and EDM, so you can listen to his tunes while I'm doing your tutorial for you. Okay, so let's get started with the second part. So as you can see, we got most of our shadows and midtones and a bit of the highlights in, but it still seems, if you look at it from view, it still looks a little muddy. And that's because we haven't really gotten in there with the real deal shadows and highlights and stuff. There's always more highlights. So what we're going to do, and we haven't done the eyes yet either. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take this highlight color, we're going to make it just a little bit higher, a little bit more yellow. And we're going to just lightly go over the more highlighted parts, like this. Now you don't want it too much, like that's too much. So what we're going to do is just real lightly in some areas. Like on, where there's going to be lots of highlights, direct brightness. And if we want, we can use our reference again like we did last time. See? Like there's a lot of brightness here. There's a lot of brightness here. There's a lot of brightness here. And a lot of brightness right here on her nose. Here. And here. And here. And right here on her hands is also some very distinct highlights on the knuckles and hands where they have, like that, and up here. Okay, let's turn this opacity back up. See? Much better. Now that we've gotten this taken care of, we can probably get rid of that layer, but I'm going to keep it just in case. And I'm also going to go in here and do this part here, because there was a little too much shadow there. And we want some distinction in the lines and muscles of her upper half here. So just a little bit of, they call this sculpting. When you use your colors to sculpt the muscle tones and stuff. So we're going to round out some of the muscles over bone where it looks, looks like muscle and everything. And that's good. Because see, now it doesn't look so bad. Now for some extreme shadows, because we're not going to use these lines, see, we've taken off the lines. It looks good, but it still looks kind of muddy. Just kind of muddy. There's still some distinct lines here, like here, her breast disappears into the shadow right there. But if you put in the lines, see, there's lines there. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some really nice deep lines in some of the shadows. We're going to do some shadow play here. And that way, make sure you get really good lines. So what we're going to use is like really small, because like I said, when you look at real life hands, look at the little shadows in your knuckles, look at the little shadows and the wrinkles in your hands or your face. They're not very prominent, but they're there. They're just these little natural lines that are just there kind of as a hint that there is shadow, that there's a crease or something there, just enough to cause a natural line. So we're not going to have too big of a difference because we don't want it to look like we outlined everything in this picture. It's not a line art, remember? So we're going to go through and we're just going to paint in where the shadows would really be deepest in the creases here. Underneath her breast and where it connects to her pectoral muscle here. And you say, what's the difference between that and line art? Well, for instance, make it a little bit brighter. A little bit. For instance, it is just to make a distinction, a little bit darker, just a distinction between that right at the crease and right where the shadow, the cast shadow is. So, like here, there would be one here, like that. And then we'll just make a little bit more just to, in the back there, so it really brings it out, where it doesn't look like we did any line work. It just looks like we added to the shadow and made it a little bit darker. So distinctive shadow like that. Like her arm is really close to the side of her body, so it would make a pretty good sharp shadow right there. And this right here would definitely have a deep shadow because it's the furthest away from our light source. So we'll just kind of blend it into the shadow that's already there. See? That really brings that out. We'll do the same thing here with her chin. Because it's, yeah, this is a distinct dark shadow. Let's blend it into the shadow we already made and the little lip shadow here. Her mouth. Right here on her nose, she has a distinct shadow where it's close to her face, like this. Same thing with her eye. She got some distinct creases there. Go. This way, when we get rid of the lines, ta-da! Much better. Now, some of this other stuff doesn't need more definition because it's not that dark. Maybe some right here on the very edge of her body that's furthest away from the light. Maybe we can make that a little bit darker. To really round that out, like this. The thing is, and I mean, in your artwork, if you want to do this, it's your business. But I was always kind of told, never use all the way black or all the way white, because unless you're actually using black and white, you don't need it to show definition, because light will reflect off of surfaces and bring out the color. In fact, the only reason why we see color at all is because it's reflected light off of a colored surface. So that's why some colors seem brighter than others, is because they are reflecting the light and it brings out the color to our eyes, which are sensitive to light. That's the only reason why we see color at all. So you never ever, unless you're just using black and white, you never ever want just a straight stark out white or black. Now this is where the light source is coming, so I'm doing some highlight, dramatic highlight on the skin. And once again, remember about her muscles and when they're curving in. And go accordingly to the shape. See, sometimes you're going to blend it out a bit more, so there you go, like that, where it's not so harsh. If she had a direct spotlight on her, that would be different, but she doesn't have a direct spotlight on her. So we're just doing this kind of slightly pale highlight on her edges on her face and stuff. Same thing now, your nose is different. For some reason your nose is really shiny. No matter how much makeup that a woman uses, her nose is still shiny. So it's okay to put like a really nice, really harsh highlight on a nose. Because for some reason your nose, I guess it's just the oils in your skin or something, but your nose is always shiny. So it's okay if you put in a nice, real bright highlight on the nose like that. Because I don't know why, but your nose is really shiny. And no matter what makeup, like I said, women use makeup like base and stuff to try and take off the shine off your skin, but your nose still has that little shine to it. Fingernails are normally shiny because they're a different, like I told you last time, they're a different kind of material than your skin, so they're going to be shiny. So if you want to put a little shine to her fingernails, that's great because that'll make them look more realistic. Your nails are always shiny whether you buff them or polish them or what. Men even have shiny fingernails, so it just happens. We're going to do some edge work here. And we'll just do real nice thin line work there. Just outline where the highlights from the light would just really come in here and cause some highlights. There you go. There you go. Dramatic lighting always, well, that's why they call it dramatic lighting. It's very dramatic. In fact, if I wanted to do here, I could do it here too. I'm going to put clothes on her, so I'm not really, dealing too much with this, because yes, we are going to put clothes on her. I don't want people to say, oh my God, why is she naked? But if you really remember, this is a muscle here curving around, so we want that. And then here, remember her rib comes out there like that. And this goes around this muscle here, and this goes around here. And then we got this curve right here, so we're going to make it a little smaller and make it like that. And then we go around, there's curve here. And she's got a curved hip, so we'll just, like this. Dip down a bit, because more of the curve to her hip and everything is more exposed to the light. But you want to make sure you keep to the contours of how her body is, so do a little bit more. This. like that. Let's see. Now remember this rib right here. So we'll do just a little, no, not there. Little. There we go. See? Dramatic lighting. That way it shows this light over here just pow, you know, real bright spotlight right on her. So we got that taken care of. Now I'm going to put clothes on her after we get done with the skin tones and everything, like I said we were going to do earlier. Another thing that's kind of shiny or opaque, the way you want to do it, are lips. So depending on if she has lipstick or not, you want to make these little dots, like about like that. Or what you want to do is find the shiniest place, which is here. Just kind of make your dots according to that. Your lip has lines in it, much like this. So you want that shine to kind of go on the lines of your lips. So you can make real dramatic little lines like that when you do a lip. Sometimes you want to, you know, if they're wearing like lipstick, like if she were wearing lipstick, we would do this. We would put in this highlight about, oh, processing, sorry. Okay. Put in this highlight about right here, and then we'd just kind of line it out like that. That way it looks like she's wearing really glossy lip gloss or lipstick. See? And that looks good if you want lip gloss or lipstick. If you want a more natural look, like, okay, she just has a natural lips. Remember that they have little bands to them. It's your lips have wrinkles in them. So you start with a big highlight that's right here, and then you just make little highlights like this on the side, like that. And that's how you do a natural look. Lips also have two sides to them. There's a kind of a divide between right here. So this is like a circle here, and this is like a circle here. Unless you're doing just extreme details on the face, you won't even really need to notice that. Sometimes we can even, you know, blur it out a bit to go at more softer texture. See? And that's how you do lips. Depends on if your model is wearing lipstick or not. A lip gloss, lipstick, you know, if you want them to have shiny lips or not, the choice is yours. Same thing with makeup. Like right now, she's not really wearing makeup. So when we do her eyes here, which is the next step, we're not going to put like makeup. What we're going to do is we'll take a really dark color and go to a smaller brush here, and we'll do like eyeliner. But you know what? Let's paint her eyes first. We'll start off with a dark gray, same color as their eye, but like a dark gray, like about here. And then you fill this in with dark gray. Maybe not that dark. Okay, so we'll go about this. This is a good color gray, because your eyes are shadowed. In fact, you don't even realize how shadowed your eyes really are. We think of eyes as being, you know, bright white like your teeth or something. And like I said before, earlier in the video, nothing in, unless you're using really harsh light or using black and white, nothing is actually in black and white. So you don't ever do anything directly in black and white. You want to stay away from stark black and stark white unless that is the colors that you are using. If you are using colors, then you want to use darker versions of those colors to show shadows and light and highlights properly. You do not want to use, like here on her nose, this is a really light peach color. I did not use white because unless there's a harsh light, you do not have white in nature. Now if she had white skin, like we were painting like a vampire or something, then yeah, she would have white highlights because she has really pale white skin. I know a lot of goth girls that have really pale white skin, and so they have gray and purple and blue tones to their shadows, and they have stark white features, you know, highlights to their skin too. But that's very circumstantial. So anyway, back to what we're saying. Okay, you notice I'm not going in the white or black area. I'm going stay in the color area because your eyes are reflective, so they're going to reflect your skin tone and stuff too. That's because you got to remember there's blood vessels and stuff in there too. So they're actually kind of a reddish color. They actually have some red to them, depending. So, all right, remembering our source. So we're going to go about here. And I'll just paint in here. This. Keep in mind it's a round ball, so there's going to be a shadow down here, and there's going to be a shadow in there too. And then this is all shadowing this area, so this highlight's actually going to be back here. So there you go. You won't want to take out too much of the shadows, so we're going to like that. We're going to keep it shadow like that. Okay. Let's see, eye color. Let's make her green eye color. That'll be cool. So eyes start off almost black, but not black. See, very dark. Very dark. And we're going to, let's bring the lines back so I can see where I had her eyes. Okay, so there it is. Okay, so we're going to start off. Okay, I'm going to paint in this really dark green here. So around your irises, and forgive me if I'm getting the anatomy wrong, it's been a while, but the color, your corneas and stuff, you notice that the outer rim of your iris and corneas, they are almost black. So we're using a very dark, almost black color, see? Even more so for over here because this is shadowed. So you remember the nose and everything. This is all shadowing the eye over here. This highlight doesn't start until here, see? So the light's hitting here. It's not hitting over here. So this eye is going to be darker than this eye, which is getting direct light. See, this is where the light is reflecting about right here in her face. So this eye is going to get a lot more highlight than this eye. So we're going to actually go with an almost black over here. And make this an even darker green to show off the shadowing of her corneas or irises, or the colored part of the eye, whatever, anatomy. Okay, so back to this. So we do make it a little bit brighter, and we're going to go out here. Remember, there's a ring around, so you go like this, keeping the ring in the middle. And the shadow up here where her lid is shadowing. And remember the pupil too. So, like that. And then over here, like I said, color won't even come in until over here, where the light is hitting. So you want to make it like this. It's actually pretty small compared to this eye. You go even brighter. And like your lips, your eye has lines in it. So we want to go really small, find our strongest highlight point about here. And then make little indications out from it, like that. What is that called? Stria? I don't remember. Maybe, anyway, but you make little lines to show like the muscles in your eye, the fibers in your eye. Remember, it's going in a circle, so like that. Then you want to do black, and the only time you ever use black is when you're doing the pupil. Because the pupil is the darkest part of your eye. It is a hole underneath the lens of your iris. So it's going to be black. Definitely going to be black. And then, like I said, stark white is only used in extreme cases. Well, this is extreme cases because this case, the eye reflecting straight light. So you want to remember where the light's coming from and how it would reflect on your eye. So we're going into this. This one won't have it, but this one will. A couple of things there, and a little off reflect there. This one may be about right here. Like that. Ta-da! Might be a little too much. She kind of looks plain. You go, her eyes look weird. That's because she's not wearing any quote-unquote makeup. So, let's see. We also want to make her eyes brighter down here. So we're going to go in here. Brighten up her eyes. See? Much better. That's the thing about eyes, though, is you gotta remember they're like glass, so they're extremely reflective because they're wet and they're round. They're highly reflective. In fact, you can go back, like I said with the corneas, you really want to bring out the eyes real a lot. And we can go in here. Just real careful. Go around in black. Really careful. Not to be noticeable, just bring them out some. Like that. Just remember. Okay. Make bigger eyes because I don't want it to look possessed or something. Okay, and then darker shadows here. So it really brings it out. Remember that the eyelids are shading the eyes. So. If you want, if you're feeling really adventurous, you could even use a burn tool to have this, but I don't want to use a burn tool. I just want to use that. You can really shade in, really shade in there. Make sure that it's all like that. And then make sure you got enough shading around there. Ta-da! Now what we're going to do is kind of do her eye makeup. I said that in quotes even though you can't see me in quotes. So we're going to go with almost black. In fact, we're going to grab the dark color and we're going to go almost black. Because some hairs are black. You're doing eyebrows, you're doing eyelashes, they're black. So we're going to go with a small brush here. And we're going to go and we're going to paint in a lash line. Follow along, right along, just like you were doing eyeliner. For those of you that don't wear eyeliner, you want to go along your lash line. And I'm going to make some lashes. So I'm just making some lashes myself because just for dramatic effect. And this will be even thicker. So you want to go a little thicker, really drawing a lash line like I did here. Like that. And then you put another line here. It's more of an anime style or comic book style, but a lot of people paint their eyelashes like that. A lot of the goth girls I know paint their eyelashes like that. So you want to go just in little intermittent places like this on the bottom lash. And then you, once in a while, I'll just put a couple of lashes in there like that for effect. And that's a basic way to do it. So, processing. Okay, so we'll do the same thing with this eye. So just real lightly do my cool goth makeup tips here. And if you don't know about how to make eyes and stuff, watch some makeup tutorials and stuff. Watch some of these men and women, I hate to say that, but there are men that have makeup tutorials too, and you know, whatever. I have no opinion on that, just you know, whatever. But you see like the makeup tips for women, and especially the goths, stuff, gothic makeup tips and stuff, you will see some fantastic eye work from goth women. First we go around the eye like this, and then you know you do your eyelash like you would an anime character or something. You kind of draw in the corner triangle, some lashes like this, and then bottom triangle like this, just like you were drawing an eyeliner. And there's another lash line like this. Sometimes you can do the lash line underneath, because your eyes actually have two lines. You have this line in this corner of your eye, then they have a lash line. This is where your eyelashes come out, is in this line that's underneath this line of your eye. Now, the top part folds in enough to where you can't see it, but the bottom lids, if you look at your eyes, you have this little slightly pink area right here in the cornea and right along the bottom edge of your eyes. When you use eyeliner, you're eyelining this part over here. Your lash line is actually a separate line from where your cornea and stuff really is. We're going to go with some pink, just slightly pink. And we're going to lightly paint in this part, just barely in there, because we don't want them to look like they're stoned or something. We just want them to look like they have blood flow. So we're going to paint right here in the corners of their eye, right there in the eye. A little bit of blood flow, you know. And just very lightly put some pink around the eye. And you outline the eye with pink. And that will give it a more realistic look. See, this one eye looks weird. I don't know why. Oh, I know why. Because this pupil's not big enough. Well, let's fix that, shall we? Okay, so let's just redo this eye. Or what you can do, and fix it with our colors. It's easier to do this. Just resize, find your colors. Gotta take off the transparency sometimes, because, yeah. We'll just there you go. Clean it up some. Okay. Okay, yeah, much better. Okay, see, that eye was way too small compared to that one. It was just messing it all up. What I did there is a lasso tool, and that takes some advanced technique. If you're not comfortable with that, then you can just erase what you did up here and just kind of redo it. It's time consuming, but if you don't trust your skills with lasso or something, lasso tool, then that's your best bet. Just to do something like that. I'm just gonna blend this in real quick. Not blending in very well. Okay, there we go. Okay, there we go. Okay. For some reason I couldn't get that to blend in very well. Okay. Just go back to that. Alright. And back. See, you gotta went over the cornea of the eye over here too, so. Okay. Alright. Fixed it. Ta-da! She's got no eyebrows. Since we don't want her to look like Marilyn Manson, let's go back to... Not that there's anything wrong with Marilyn Manson, you know, he's fine. Just... We're not going for the eyeless look, the eyebrowless look. If you want to draw in eyebrows or have dramatic eyebrows like some of the punk rock gothic girls and stuff, then well, that's once again your art, your creation, your prerogative. Me, I'm gonna give my girl eyebrows. Eyebrows consist of little hairs. So the best way to get dramatic eyebrows to where they look like eyebrows is to do this. You make a shape with little short lines and shape it. It's okay to have some hairs out of balance, because that's how your eyebrows work. Even if you shape your eyebrows, you still have to kind of shape them in a way like eyelashes. Same thing with these eyebrows. Eyebrow over here. You want to make sure get a good shape in there. Some strays right here where it begins. And just a quick little this to give it texture. Shape them out using little hairs. because that's what your eyebrows are. It's just a cluster of little hairs. And they're thicker in the middle, so you're going to make sure you get that in. And then just shape them out like this. It's kind of like cross hatching, really. You just have to... Not really much highlighting the eyebrows. Because they're coarse little hairs, so not really much to them. Ta-da! Okay. We're also going to talk about, you know how we did the stripe shadows here? Some things are even darker. Like, for instance, the mouth lines. So we're going to do those real quick. A much darker color. And once again, not black, just darker color. A lot of implied line is used in things like manga and things because you don't want to define certain shapes. Your mind will complete shapes at times. You'll notice that a lot with manga and anime. They use a lot of implied line where, like, they'll just put a shadow for the nose and your brain sees the nose. They do the same thing with her, just in a more direct kind of way. We're not going to give her an anime nose. As you'll notice, even when we take out the lines, we don't need lines. Ta-da! We got all the shadows in there and all the highlights to where it looks like a real girl, and now we don't even need the lines. And that's how you make dramatic lines. See, sometimes if you want even more, like, deeper shadows in here, well, if you want even deeper shadows in here, we can just go in here and do even deeper shadows. We want to really define that jawline and her cheekbones and stuff that we had. Well, we could do that. It's probably not going to be that darker. Remember, don't have it too dark because then it'll distract. Oops, we didn't have our... See how I went out a little bit? It's because I didn't have this turned on. Make sure you turn that on when you're digital painting. Otherwise, you could have stuff mixed into the clothes and everything that you're like, why is this spraying on the clothes? You know, that's why. Ta-da! Ta-da! You can even go down here. Just even more so down there. Armpit and stuff. More so down here. Sometimes you gotta have a steadier hand than what I got if you just really don't want to mess that up. You can always turn down the opacity if you just don't trust your skills with softening up and stuff properly. Then you can always turn down the opacity of a brush and just lightly, like here, brush size, hardness, you know, brush and stabilization and stuff, you can always turn down the opacity of a brush, like majorly, or turn it up. And you just really, easier to do with Photoshop, I guess, but really just lightly brush in there. So you can always change the opacity of a brush if it always looks like, dude, I just cannot get those soft lines in there, it always looks too harsh. Then, you know, you can always change the opacity of your brush. And work it on that way. Just lighten it up there. There you go. That's dramatic enough. Yeah. Some here. See, away from the light. This over here. There you go. Over here on her face. There you go. That's looks a lot better than it started off with when we started this lesson, didn't it? So, see, we've got little subtle shadows here and like separations of her muscles without line work. We even did makeup. Now, the cool thing about this too, also about eyes that you got to remember, is that eyes also are sunk in to the face. So, it is not uncommon to have some strong shadows around your eye. Like this. Not uncommon at all to have some nice strong shadows right here. Because your eyes are sunk into your head. There's hollows here where your eyeball fits in. So there's always going to be like that. And then of course, lines would be here. There we go. Ta-da! Much better than it looked like earlier, huh? Yep. We can even darken up here. If we want it to be really dramatic, we can even darken it up right here in the nose. Yeah. And we'll probably darken up over here next to the lip. Really bring out that lip. Remember, chin is round, so shadow goes around the chin, goes around where the lips would be, on the side of the face. See? Much better. Ta-da! Okay, so that's it for this time. Next time we're going to work on the hair, and I'll show you the technique I use for hair hair painting and stuff. You see, we're going to have some dramatic hair. And then after we do that, then I'll try to show you guys how to add clothes to the, well, more or less nude model. So thank you for watching. Catch you next time.